But anyway, then speaking of weed, certainly you had to take a break in the next segment.
You holding? What are you saying? You got something?
You had to take a break in the next segment. I can't imagine that you could have gone.
What was it? I don't even remember.
Will Ospreay and MJF.
Ooh, you know, I actually was planning on going outside around this time, but I saw this was starting. I said, let me go after this. And it went for a good while. And I was regretting that decision after a good while.
Well, they went commercial free and full of and vinegar for 25 minutes on his segment. And I'm sorry, but everybody has one. So now MJF has had his. God damn, this was interminable. And Osprey comes out, and of course he gets the big ovation and lots of ole, 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 ole. Ole Anderson was fucking popping up out of his grave. They've sang it so long.
However, he called them all pieces of shit.
Well, that's true. And then said, fuck you and your wife, Linda.
That's right. And then he went back.
But yes, Osprey gets a big ovation. And he's the home country hero or home. Goddamn, he's not from Wales, is he? He's from England. So he's the home.
He's from London.
Well, he's the home UK fellow guy. Whatever. He's the baby face. And then MJF comes out, and of course there's more Ole singing. And it's good. This is the closest they have come to replicating some of the atmosphere they've had in the WWE lately, with everybody's song getting sung and their shit being over. But can you understand Os when he's screaming, not only with the accent, but with the foghorn voice, the tonal quality? It's like trying to understand somebody trying to talk through a ball gag.
It sounds like he's hoarse, but then he also has the accent. And even with the bad, well, not even, especially with what is always the bad AEW audio, at least the way it comes across now on multiple TVs here in this office, it's hard to make out exactly what he's saying at all times. And he talks a lot.
Yeah, oh yes, very, very quickly. Also, when MJF would speak, it cut through that extra noise. You could hear, but I don't know. But Osprey did a long promo about how he wrestled in the church halls and tenement walls over there in Wales. And, and this is, by the way, they will be fined or suspended if they fight here, as opposed to the girls who just had a promise, apparently. I don't know. And MJF did the promo. He was begged to come back early from injury and clean up Osprey's mess. Well, the problem is Osprey hadn't hardly been here for but a couple of months, right? Wouldn't it have been somebody else's mess? I mean, the whole promo, and really this whole program, is kind of geared toward the internet mark so that they can kind of talk about the rotten booking. Did you get that part?
Yeah, I think this was all really misguided. And, I won't say the whole feud because it hasn't been to this level, although this is what this was the explanation for bad feelings. It doesn't resonate with a big audience, I don't think. And I think the longer they went on and the longer they were talking about this, the more it was like, what do they even fucking fight? What are they mad about?
Yes. And goddamn, is it worth all this effort to talk about it, whatever it is? And
by the way, it sounds like you guys could just talk it out. Maybe you don't need the match. Just keep doing this.
Because Osprey said Tony Khan asked him to put on a good wrestling match because he couldn't rely on his world champion to do it, about MJF. Again, this is for the fucking internet fan who's already there in the audience. Not all of them. They ain't all in AEW's audience anymore. But they're all marks. And the people wanted to sing some more ole, ole, ole. And they were 15 minutes into this at the 9 o'clock hour. And it wasn't done yet. MJF called them all redcoat terrorists, but there he is in the red, white, and blue, the American hero. And I don't know. I don't believe they've got another Revolutionary War started here. Because then MJF had to tell Osprey again at length what's wrong with him and that he wasn't man enough to Tiger Driver him. And then Osprey went off, well, history books can be rewritten. How? It's history. It pretty much happened. If you change it, that means you're lying. But he said history books can be rewritten, but what can't be is how people feel.
Yeah, what was that line?
Punk is trying to get a bracelet with his wife and dog's name on it that was stolen by the man he hates more than anybody on the face of the earth. And Osprey is talking about, well, I'm going to make people feel good. And then he named every country in the world that will say that he's the greatest wrestler. Europe, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, America. Could he get recognized on the street in any of those countries? If you were not at a wrestling event, if he was just walking down a fucking street, is he going to draw a crowd anywhere in the world?
See, there's another thing that went on way too long. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what it would be if he went on the subway in Japan or if he, went to a special bar in Spain. I don't know where what the reaction would be everywhere. But it goes from the company's been hurt because of you. No, it was because of you to I'm the best. How could you say you're the best? I'm the best. Go ask anyone. I mean, it was just going on forever, and they were arguing about shit that isn't money. It's not, I think you're a prick. I don't need you out of my way. I want my belt back. You're fucking up my friendship. It was just like, here's a whole bunch of superfluous stuff, and then, a whopper at the end.
Well, and actually, there was a diamond sitting in the top of the cow pie. The segment that was good when Osprey was talking about MJF and the fans, he said they used to love you, but not anymore. And MJF blurted out, they loved me till you showed up and ruined it. And then he realized what he said. That was good. If that had been in the middle of fucking 9 or 11 minutes, it might have been really good. But it was in the middle of 25 fucking minutes. And then MJF gathered himself up and started putting Osprey over more. And then somehow have they mentioned Will Ospreay's wife or family situation on a television program ever?
I don't want to say for certain because they may have mentioned that he's, going back to England to be with his family or something. I don't.
But also sure. the announcers are so unbearable, we often don't listen. But
that's right. So I can't say.
Okay, MJF just blurts out, by the way, I got to spend time with your wife today. Well, how would he have done that? Did he go to his fucking house? Where does Osprey live? Does he live in fucking Wales? Or if Osprey brought his wife with him, did he say, okay, I'm going to the gym, honey, if you need anybody to come over for the next couple hours, wink, wink. What the fuck?
Why would that bother you if you knew? Well, I mean, it would bother you, but why would it bother you to that point if you knew he was just lying? Like, it would bother you that he's lying, but if he's coming up with this whole story, it's not true, and you stand there and listen to it. Again,
well, yes, or apparently, was it supposedly true that MJF could have really talked to his wife, and why would Will Ospreay's wife talk to MJF if Ospreay's wife was alone by herself away from Osprey to begin with?
Not even talking with her, fucking her, because he said that she may have his kid.
Well, that could be insinuation. But the fucking point of the whole thing is it's ridiculous. Either whether she lives in Wales or she came with him, if she came with Osprey, she wasn't at the fucking hotel with MJF, whatever. But it was just, MJF said, I got to spend time with your wife and your so-called kid. And then he says, oh, I'm putting you over. Because apparently Osprey's wife had a previous relationship and had a kid, and the kid is not Osprey's, but he's raising some other guy's kid as his own, which is commendable. And after, this is what MJF was saying, after talking with his wife, the next kid that she has won't be yours either. And so, but again, how did this come as some type of believable, enraging incident to Will Ospreay is what I'm saying to you. And what you're saying to me.
Yeah, I mean, and then also, Will, on the way here, I visited your mom.
Yeah.
And I had a few things to say to her. And then I found your old teacher. I mean, like, just that's the thing. At the very end of this promo, after all of this going back and forth about feelings and who's the best, and
can you imagine how much better it'd have been if he'd have led with, hey, I fucked your wife this afternoon.
Yeah. You know where I was today? I was fucking your wife. No one's ever started a promo like that. That would have been big.
You know what? That is true. God damn it. That's got to be the way that somebody on TV gives their notice. So just go out there and take the microphone, and the first thing they say is, hey, you know what? I fucked your wife this afternoon. How about that? But anyway, they're not done yet, because Ospreay then turns and asks Tony Schiavone, hey, you got Tony Khan in your ear? Well, of course he does, except when we need him, he's always there.
You're right. How come it was this easy just to be, hey, you must have Tony Khan right now? Of course you do.
Yes. Well, what would the fine be for hitting MJF? And Tony says 100,000 pounds or $127,000, just for our bilingual audience here.
Pound sterling.
Pound sterling. Well, I'll tell you what, I used to pound sterling all the time.
Oh, that poor man.
Well, you know, he retired from his job as the Birmingham television commentator, Sterling Brewer. Remember, have you ever known anybody? His real name was Sterling. First name was Sterling. It wasn't like Sterling Golden. It wasn't a made-up thing.
Sterling Morrison, the fantastic underrated guitar player from the Velvet Underground.
All right. Anyway, so then Ospreay tackles MJF because he's willing to pay the 100. You know what? They missed a classic opportunity to at least get Tony over somehow. If Tony Khan, that is, if Tony Schiavone had said, I'm hearing from Tony Khan that the fine he had in mind was 100,000 pounds, but considering what MJF said, he's marking it down to $995. Get him. Boom. The big pop, right? Fuck. Anyway. So the big tackle and the big pull apart, MJF nails Ospreay with the ring. And then they've established now they got all this security, but they got to do an angle. So MJF nails like 5 security guards with the ring, a couple of them with gut shots, and they all rolled out and just laid on the floor and disappeared. And meanwhile, Ospreay's got his fucking sword out, and he manages to get a pap smear on his head off the fucking ring. And then MJF hits him with a brain buster and covers him for his own 3 count. And then he goes for the Tiger Driver that he says that Ospreay's not man enough to pull the trigger on. But security revives suddenly all it. You know, it's funny, when you get hit with different types of punches, you're unconscious for the same amount of time.
You know, it's kind of like that thing you see sometimes in movies. You hit the lead alien or something and they all go down. They're subservient to the main one.
Yes.
So maybe the main security guard went down and they all went down.
Or what about when, especially, you know who was noted for this? James West on the Wild Wild West. He'll have a fight with 5 guys and he'll run them all into walls and fucking hit them with chairs, and they'll be laying there selling, and he'll just run through the archway into the next room and down a hallway, and then suddenly he stops running because nobody's going to get up and chase him. It's like he's 5 miles away.
You know what I thought the most problematic part of all this here at the end was? When MJF went for the Tiger Driver, there was no reaction. The fans didn't react. There was no ooh, there was no oh, there was nothing.
Well,
and everything's based around everything's based around this move being the deadly move that Ospreay's afraid to use. They haven't gotten the move over. People still aren't even sure exactly what it is. They did one video for it, and it was good. And it was buried. It wasn't on this show, was it? It wasn't on this show.
I didn't see it.
So I don't even remember. It may have been on Collision. But they've got to do more to actually get... They don't have enough time now, but that was the thing. MJF went for the Tiger Driver, teased it, and that's when security woke up, and the fans didn't even react.
Well, now, there's something to be said for the fact that they've not only been talking for over 20 minutes, but now they're fighting. Now he's given the guy the brain buster. He's covered him for his own 3 count, and now he's going to pick him up and do something else. They're like, fuck! Can you just goddamn get it over with? But also with the Tiger Driver, I'm sorry, but normal people don't understand and would scoff or laugh at the idea that, oh, this wrestler who's been, especially if he's a babyface and he's been wronged by a heel who's talking about fucking his wife and fathering his fucking children or whatever the fuck, but he won't pick him up and drop him on his head. Fuck this fucking pussy. Right? Oh, I don't want to do the Tiger Driver anymore. Well, fuck you then. Don't beat him.
Well, Jim, history could be rewritten, but feelings are forever.
Oh, Christ.